All right. Let's see what happens. Let's try this again. Let's try it again. Let's find out. Let's do a little behind the scenes rigmarole. Let's see. I just saw a pop.
Yeah, it says live now. Let me share it again.
Hey, bro, I hear it. I mean, I hear it going off. It sounds like we're all right.
That was interesting. Little kerfuffle.
I think we all right.
Kerfuffle. Spell that.
No.
Yep,
Spell that.
No, please.
No.
Just
nah.
Spell it out loud.
Yeah, I think that may have worked because
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. We had a slight little mishap. Little something. Fees are wonky. Good in there. I don't know. There's storms and things. Maybe that's it.
No. That's not jokes. No.
Hey, look, kerfluffle.
Hey, there it is.
Thanks, Heather.
With the C and with the K. Covered both grounds.
Listen, saving sin from the spelling bee mishap that was about to be. In fact, listen, okay. So where we were was whether or not I appreciate Disney using Stan Lee against me to make me feel like I need to be in the theater.
I know they played dirty.
They just threw my man whole voice. At least they didn't show him. If they had shown him,
I'd have been ruined. I'd have been ruined.
They used my man whole voice against me. The joint came on, he started talking. It was like, oh no, hey, Ty. What's up, Ty? Yeah, hey, may the 4th be with you too. Yeah, I'm just not like I'm a little hurt by the fact they used my man against me because now I feel like I have to go to the theater.
Right.
And I had like in my head, I had made myself perfectly content with like, well, if I don't go, it's fine. But now Stan Lee said I gotta go. I know when the speech is from, Ellis. I know the speech is from 2017. I know it, bro. It doesn't make him less right.
Right.
You know what I mean? We already knew Daddy Stan was a man he's the watcher. He knew what was going down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look, let's run this down. Let's talk about what they showed us. I mean, obviously, a newer glimpse into Black Widow, which I think is cool because I feel like we kind of needed that just to be on the safe side, just to give us that little bit of extra. You know what I mean? Listen, look, J. Robert Deans. I know they approved the vaccine, but we still have a lot of people for whatever reason that ain't ready. They're not ready. It's like there are a lot of people who are feeling more comfortable. You know what I mean? For sure. But there are definitely a lot of people who aren't ready. And to be honest with you, it's not really about that for me because I'm out in it every day.
Same here.
Working in public with them every day. It's not really about that for me. I was just comfortable, like not having to go to the theater. I think I was just getting comfortable, but I'm also comfortable with the idea of truly making going to the movies an event again. You know what I'm saying? Like really, to be honest, I really mostly only went to the theater for Marvel, for Disney stuff, their animated stuff, Star Wars stuff. That's it. Marvel, that's it. Yep, almost 12, shorty. You're getting ready to get a shot. Ellis, but what if you're wrong?
I know that'd be an awesome little.
Actually, as it turns out, you already are wrong. So let's not even. You're already wrong. You're already wrong because she doesn't die at the end of this movie.
Right.
Plus, there's another Black Widow. Which Black Widow? Because there's like 20 of them in the trailer.
Right.
It's like
take a pick.
Yeah. I look beyond Black Widow. Again, I was already excited for Black Widow, but I had already allowed myself in my head to feel perfectly fine with not going to the theater to see Black Widow. If that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But the slate of films that are coming, and it's not like I didn't know they were coming.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they put them in a trailer.
They did.
So now I'm amped. Like now,
and put them all in your face too.
All in my face, bro. Like I don't like. Listen, who does it? Like who is the? I gotta find out who the person is. Who is the person Kevin Feige goes to and says, "It's time."
I know, right? This is their only job. This is their only job.
And it's time. Out.
And that one person goes into the studio, close the door behind him, put on his headphones, like just let him do his thing. He'll come out when it's time.
And when it's time, it's right. Like
permanent job.
Like who knows? Like for all we know, they had this trailer like a year ago and just had to change the dates on it. Like
true.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's run it down. Black Widow, July 9th.
Yep.
Shang-Chi, September 3rd. Eternals, November 5th. Spider-Man No Way Home, December 17th. Let's stop right there. We're almost halfway through this year, and there's four films coming.
Yep.
4 films coming, and we ain't even talk shows. We ain't talk Loki yet. Like,
nope.
Making up for that lost ground.
This is what I have missed. I have missed having a calendar of pop culture event horizons, bro. Like just being like, the joint's coming. It's right there. It's right there. That's right there. You already know. You and Jokes, birthday kids, 2 movies, 2 years in a row.
When we get to it, we're gonna talk about that next one. Get one on my birthday.
Well, I know. I'm just this year. Just this year. They're just like, yep, let's just dump it all on them.
Yep, we gotta make up for that lost time. Like, look, we gonna give it to you guys. Like, as much as we can space these out as much as possible. It's like, no, let's just get this stuff out. Because I'm sure at one point they were thinking about, let's delay things or put a little bit more of a gap in between, but you can't do it. It's like now that just like Black Widow's coming to Disney Plus. So we know that option, it seems like, is on the table that they can use. But
for sure.
But clearly everything.
Stan said go see it in the theaters. So we gotta go see it in the theaters because Stan said so.
Yeah, I think goes to Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Hey, I'm still down with Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey, listen, Chuck E. Cheese pizza is fire, bro. So, it's fire.
I didn't know.
Hey, Cuddy's right. The MCU is about to saturate the landscape again.
Don't have a problem with it either.
Again. But here's the thing. It's not just them. It's It's Disney as a whole. Because, like, if we were to actually, like, pull the MCU out
and just
zoom out and look at the entire Disney slate of what's coming out, right? I mean, it's May 4th, so y'all already know Bad Batch hit the day. Like, it's a thing. Yeah. Like, they are firing on cylinders we can't see, bro. I'm positive they got things locked and loaded and ready to go. We have no idea coming. But just if you look at what Pixar's doing, what Disney is doing, what Star Wars is doing, Lucasfilm, Lucas Games, like it's getting ready to really be disgusting out here for anybody that ain't Disney, Marvel. Like this, like it's the kind of thing that just like it does kind of feel like it's not on purpose. They're just that good. Like you could start to take it like they're pointing the finger and being like, look at Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? But it's not, you know what I mean? It's just they just are doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just they're just doing what they do and what they've done well. Hey, Jokes, I just realized this. You don't have a name on your screen. Nobody knows who you are.
For real? I'm looking at John right on the screen.
His name on my screen.
It's not on mine, so I guess what happened is somebody jumped in with the little Jokes joint and just yoink. But that's cool. As long as you can see it, I'm good with it. Yeah. Hey, listen, I there's no two ways that Disney is in it. Let's see. Not just Disney. Movies and TV in general have been in production during the pandemic creative ways. Counting for the next year is going to be insane. Listen, you're absolutely right. I guess my point is they're making everybody else look not as good. Not necessarily bad, but look not as good. I mean, there are certainly things that are enticing. Amazon Prime certainly has things that they're firing off right now. Mm-hmm. Netflix has things that they're firing off right now. There's just
it's different when you got that Disney name and you're throwing out MCU, Star Wars, all these Disney properties that people grew up with, that nostalgia feeling, being live action or doing a series based on the show coming out. They got all that under their banner.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's happening is what just MCU alone. I think part of what's happening with the MCU is that MCU is, we recognize what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. So there's a certain level of trust for the IP, for Marvel in terms of IP, right? And it's kind of the same thing with Disney. I mean, with Star Wars. There's a certain level of trust, but they're digging into the crates and pulling out IP that they own that nobody's really cared about for a long time. Like, nobody really cares about the Eternals. Let's just keep it a buck. Like, nobody really cares about the Guardians of the Galaxy. So let's make it a thing. It's that right there. That, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, for real, it's that Ant-Man worked. That joint was actually really good. All right, so let's give Guardians a shot. That joint was actually really good. Stay out of this, J. Robert Deans. That joint was actually really good. Right? And then they turn around and they say, Shang-Chi. I mean, okay, because
hey, it's been working.
Right? And then they say Eternals, and it's like, Eternals? I mean, okay, because you know what I mean? But then you realize that these are really old properties, right? Like, I think the first Eternals dropped in like 1976 or something, right? So they're not new IP, but they're able to breathe new life into them for a new generation in a way that just makes you feel like, when you look at what Disney has under their banner in terms of property they own, I feel like in a certain way, especially because a lot of it is new to them, they're able to do things with it that we haven't seen. Like, Warner Brothers owns a lot of IP, but a lot of the IP they own is stuff that's been sitting in crates that they've had for a long time. And it's kind of like when you don't know what to do with your own stuff because you don't have that fresh set of eyes kind of looking at it and go, all right, well, let's do this with it. So I think that makes a lot of sense. J. Robert Deans, you're absolutely right. Like, the fact that Eternals was written by this year's winner for Best Director at the Oscars is incredible. It's incredible. And these things have to begin to lend credence to the kind of movies that they're making. You're not going to be able to ignore these movies anymore and not put them up for Academy Awards. Like, you just can't do it. It's got the biggest names, the biggest stars, the greatest writers, the best directors, the most diversity.
And their shows are heading on that track too.
Exactly.
Looking at WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, they're heading on that exact same trajectory.
Yeah, wait till that Loki drop. You know what I mean? Like, wait till that Loki drops. Like, it's a real thing. Greg, you're right. Disney's purchase of MCU and Star Wars is so clutch right now. It's so clutch. But here's the thing. I remember when it happened. I remember when Disney bought Lucas, and I was like, it's over, dog. It's over, dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's and for a long time, in a lot of ways, it kind of was. It's the right people at the right time in the right way. You know what I mean? You know what, J. Robert Deans? Listen, I don't know if I don't think that's completely the whole story. I understand that she went to Feige with the pitch, but I don't necessarily believe that Eternals wasn't on the radar at all. Like the plans that they have had lead through phase 5, for sure through phase 5. Now, what is different is the acquisition of Fox and how that affects that because of now having mutants back under the umbrella, right? So again, I haven't finished going through the slate, but obviously we have to touch on Fantastic Four. So we'll get there. Let's finish going through the slate. After Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, March 25th.
Okay.
Thor: Love and Thunder, May 6th. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, July 8th. You okay, Jokes?
Hey, I'm
Are you
excited.
gonna cry?
I'm excited. I could, because we're gonna see that it's on me. His birthday. It's so amazing. Like, this is a birthday gift. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you.
As long as it holds the date.
What's
As
up,
long
bro?
as yo, this is the one. Don't y'all dare move or shift it. Now, if you shift it up, you know what? I'm not gonna be as mad because I may get to see it early. So
You getting shouted out, bro. I just want to make sure you know.
I called out. I was.
Just want to make sure you know.
Hey, Perp, you don't like the Black Panther 2 title? I think that title is perfect.
I think the title is perfect.
What else do you do?
Dog,
yeah,
I think that sums
it's so
up.
perfect. Yeah.
What do you call it? Killmonger's Revenge? You call that joint Wakanda Forever, dog?
We've known the title now since the first movie has come out. It was under all of our noses the whole time.
I mean, isn't that what they did with Endgame?
That was mentioned. They said we were in the Endgame.
I'm just saying.
They know what they're doing.
There's followed by the Marvels, which, listen.
Hey.
I like it.
I like that.
I do too.
I saw that and I was like, ooh.
Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and the original quote unquote Captain Marvel. I'm going with Photon. I'm pretty sure she's gonna call herself Photon. What happens between now and then? Are we not gonna see these? Like, how many cameos are we getting of other characters? What are the end credit scenes gonna look like?
These end credit scenes are about to be fire.
The sick. Crack binge, bruh.
Like, no, remember you, Matt? Of course I do. Appreciate it, dude.
And witness protection, dude, won't be involved in none of them.
Oh, witness protection was Doctor Strange. He got written out of it. that was the plot. That's a plot that they took out of there. It was him.
Look at here, little Jokes. You can't put Doctor Strange in witness protection, bro. I think he can witness protect himself. It just had somebody falling for 30 minutes, bro. Like, I don't think my man needs that.
He's here to bargain.
Yeah, I mean, oh man. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, February 17th, 2023, bro. Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th. We are 2 years out.
Oh, I love it.
2 years out, and then Fantastic Four Undated. And I'm gonna tell you what's missing. Blade.
I think I said this once before. When they announced it, I didn't feel like that kind of fit this slate of what they were looking to do. And I think at one point we had a conversation. I said I thought that would probably end up in Phase 5. And I'm not mad. Like, I'm upset that we're not going to get it, but I feel like there's another plan or something involved that they want to use with Blade that either they haven't quite figured out or haven't quite gotten to that point of where they want to put him in that. Because as of right now, don't get me wrong, Feige we trust. They can weave Blade in somewhere and it will make complete sense. But I just feel like with the movies that are currently coming, I just don't feel like he has necessarily the place inside of it, other than like Spider-Man, which we've talked about different ways that he can incorporate inside of there. I just don't feel like he has that placement within the slew of what we're getting right now. So that's why
for Disney Plus.
That's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
That's a movie.
But here's the thing. Again, we've gone dark now. Magic, dark, whatever. So sure, vampires. Why not? You know what I mean? Like at this point, again, especially as we go into the multiverse, like any number of things is possible, right? Especially once we really hit that and truly see the multiverse come through. Yeah, I don't think that that's the case. I don't think J. Robert Deans is saying was Blade not on the schedule because of Mahershala Ali's availability. I don't think so. I think it's not on the slate because they either haven't figured out where it fits in or it's part of Phase 5. It's further out in terms of, and they may have had to rework something. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's because of his
schedule.
I think it's just further out.
I think it's Phase. So. I really think it's Phase 5.
Personally, not excited for Blade because of the PG-13. They just call it Butterfly.
Hey, look.
Hey, listen, man.
Normally that does bother me. They know the R stuff works, but I feel like they can. I still like they could work in the realm of the PG-13. Obviously, it's not going to be as gory as whenever compared to obviously the Wesley Snipes one, which I mean,
it's not necessarily true, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they already said they're keeping Deadpool like it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The R-rated stuff works. Like,
so, I mean, I know what Disney wants to do in the PG-13 pieces of it and so forth. I do think that New Mutants was an experiment they allowed to be. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not terrible in terms of. I mean, it's not a good movie, but but it's not terrible in terms of like really pushing the limits of being rated R versus being. But testing the idea of going more into horror, knowing that Multiverse of Madness is considered more of a horror movie than what we've seen. So them leaning in that direction could certainly be something that we see. And Blade has still been a really dope and cool character in animation on Spider-Man and so forth. So I have a feeling that they can pull it off. I also think it depends on how they layer it. So one of my biggest issues with Suicide Squad was that because they gave it a PG-13 rating, you can't really see Deadshot do what Deadshot does, right? So what they did was they put a bunch of undead creatures in that when he killed them, there wasn't blood and blah, blah, or whatever. So I understand that it's Blade and I understand what it's like, but when we're fighting creatures of the night or whatever it is, you could still see him go off, be bananas, show super strength, be able to leap and jump and do all the kinds of things powers-wise that he's been able to do. Like if you look at, you know, the first or second Blade, like the ending fights are straight up raw fights. And it's not necessarily about the gore, you know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. So I just think it's how they frame it. But that also could be another reason why it's not on the slate yet. They might be trying to figure out the best way to work it. And whether or not it's something that they're willing to risk framing as something more like a Deadpool that isn't necessarily PG-13. I think at some point.
You think they might do a tie-in with Morbius? Considering Morbius keeps getting pushed back?
I would hate it, but they could. I would absolutely hate it. I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't, because again, multiverse. So that means that whatever it is that Sony's doing, they can just be like, yeah, I mean, that's a thing, but it doesn't really count for us. So yeah, you know what I mean?
That's true.
They can turn around and absolutely retcon Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson. Yep, all that's really a thing, but timelines and whatever and multiverse. So it's cool. What'd you say, Perk? As long as the vampires don't sparkle when Blade goes down. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, Marvel's earned up enough cachet with me that I'm confident in what they'll pull off with Blade.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm not in any project that Marvel announces tied to the MCU. I have full confidence in it for them being able to pull it off at this point.
Yeah, I think the same thing.
Yeah, they've earned enough cachet with us now.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that they'll figure it out.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I am. More than anything, I'm excited about the slate, and I'm more concerned about how they make Fantastic Four work than I am about how they make Blade work.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I agree with that.
We don't have to pretend Fantastic Four, they're garbage. They're whack.
Facts.
They could be really cool.
Hey, Feige got his hands on it now. So, hey.
Look, in Feige we trust, but I'm just going to wait till I see the first trailer.
I'm not even necessarily giving them that, dog. I'm not even necessarily giving them that.
You can't stand the Fantastic Four.
I'm not even necessarily giving them that. But again, I'll just say, I mean, there's a lot of potential for them to do it and do it right. For those characters to be cool again. In the same way I've said, you know, time and again here that somebody got to go back and make Jedi's cool again. The time is coming. Here's what I want to do. Look, Perp said, give me Doom. I'm so sick of that guy. But here's the thing. Sokovia got to be right next to that very.
It's got to be.
It's got to be right next to that joint. Like they talked about like invading, like other countries just coming in and kind of robbing everything blind before they could even clear all the rubble or whatever. Probably it's probably related to that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I don't want. I don't really want an origin story. I don't want an origin story for Doctor Doom. I honestly feel like the Fantastic Four, if they show up, they have to fight somebody other than Doom. I feel like it has to be something bigger than that, bigger than them. It could start off with something smaller, but
I think they'll get intertwined in somebody else's story. Kind of just what they did with Black Panther introducing within Civil War. I feel like that probably would be the route to go with the Fantastic Four. And whether it's, say like how we kind of talked about us thinking like Reed or Sue was going to show up in WandaVision. Maybe it is them, looking to go after, we have this smart person that we know we need to bring them in and so we can figure this issue out or whatever. I think that would be the route to go with them. Because at this point, honestly, I think Marvel is doing a great job without necessarily doing an origin story.
correct.
I feel like they've done an awesome job at just weaving these characters in somebody else's place, and then what, just bringing them and giving their own movie afterwards. So I think that's going to be the route to go with the Fantastic Four.
I completely.
My favorite thing about the Fantastic Four is that they introduced Black Panther, and that he beat the bejesus out of them, like beat the brakes off of them. And and here's the thing. Not only did he show up and beat the brakes off of them, but he beat the brakes off of them right after they beat Galactus.
Oh,
these Mammers beat Galactus, and this dude showed up and showed out.
I like
Raw.
That. I like
Hands
that.
down. You know what I'm saying? If they have a Black Panther that just whoops them dudes, I'll be good.
That's all you need.
You know what I mean? I feel like they'll get it together. But I'm gonna tell you what they're not gonna do. They are not gonna make a show like Invincible. And we are
they are not.
Hey Slim, listen. I don't know if anybody in the audience, anybody who's watching is watching Invincible.
I did my binge run.
I mean, first season's over now.
Yeah, I did my whole binge run yesterday.
It's crack, isn't it?
Oh, that John.
You should have jumped on it when I told you.
No. After the first episode, I was like, okay, you hear people getting hyped, talk about it.
Hey, bro, at the end of that first episode, I had to stay around to see what the hell happened in episode 2.
Nah, Joe. That Joe was tame compared to stuff.
Oh, I know. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm far enough into it that this joint has become like, holy crap.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bro, that finale is no
joke. I was just sitting on the couch like, yeah, Slim is going ham.
Hey, listen. There are so many interwoven stories throughout these very limited episodes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you what, I love the way the show is done. Like, I love the fact that the show starts and then you'll be like 10-15 minutes in before they even show you the title.
The title screen.
Right. They always do it.
You wait for him to drop his name. Yeah.
Like, and every time they do it, they splash more blood on that joint.
Yeah, I forgot for a quick second. I was like, oh, title screen. Oh, okay.
I'm in there 100%. Like, this joint, I'm so sliced they're doing 2 more seasons of this.
So amped for it. So amped for it.
This is the kind of animation. These are the kind of fights. This is the stuff I'm looking for.
Agree.
The type of character development, the acting, the voice work, the animation, the choreography. This is it. Through and through. I'm all in.
Some of them scenes, it'd be your typical superhero fight, and the next thing you know, that joke just go in a whole different direction, and bodies
it's like a more realistic superhero fight, especially the villains and the evil ones. They don't give a rat's ass. When they're fighting you, they are out here to kill you.
That was some of the most gangster stuff I ever seen.
Hey, listen. Hey, look, Perp. Here's the thing. I feel you. I actually do. I feel you on it. I do think they could do a little more with the animation. Here's what I think is the reality of that. I think this is the first season, and I think they put the kind of money into it that they felt like a season one. We don't know what's going to happen with this. We'll do. I feel confident enough in the animation that they did have in this that season 2 and 3 they're gonna put some real money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And really go out. Like yeah, G, you need to check out Invincible for sure.
No, facts.
Let me do this. Let me just Father, I would like to watch Invincible also. Good night. No.
Not
right
there just yet.
Actually, realistically, it's not that bad. I probably would let you watch it. Like we play Mortal Kombat. Like it's not that
That's
bad.
Facts. It's
really not that bad. As a whole, like you could deal with it Invincible. So we might do it, but we have to watch it together.
Yeah, I hate that Bama Rex.
But I did hate Rex.
I hate him, but I started having more.
I started banging with him like Rex was kind of like,
hey, I hate you. He be going for no reason.
Yep, for no reason, dog. He had a bad childhood.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Why did you steal my kid face, dog?
And that whole scene of conversation, he's like, nah, forget all of that, Slim. Yeah. Like, why do you have my face?
Hey, listen,
this is weird.
Here's the other thing about it it's the comedy is also so good. Like there's obviously super important, impactful stuff. Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me just let y'all know I lost, I guess. I'll rest my case. Go to bed, Slim. Go to bed. Yeah, like
no, the show is just as funny. Also, it hits like all the criteria, like the relationship aspect, the action, the adventure, the characters, like you say, the character development, the comedy. It hits on all those cylinders and it don't stop.
They had the checklist and they made sure they checked everything as they went through. Execution, putting it in the right place. Like I give them props to it, because especially the character development, like that's when you can develop all your characters around. You got your main character, but then you start developing all these ones around it. One, it gives you potential for building those stories. Two, it gives you potential to have spinoffs. So I love it.
How far did you get into it, Jokes?
I'm at episode 8. I'm at the last episode. Like I gotta finish the last and then get to the last episode.
Oh my gosh.
No. Yeah, I didn't get the I told you, dude. This is the day I didn't have to do nothing today, and I slept for most of this day.
Hey, dog.
You need to course correct that.
Oh, I did. Oh no, when I woke up, I started course correcting.
Nah, you still messed up. You should be done.
That last episode, Slim. Oh my good Lord.
Hey, listen. They it's, I mean, look. The writing is dope. The pacing is dope. There's just something about the pacing. Again, getting credits and then just getting some more show. Where it's not really an after credit. It's just like, I mean, we ran the credits, but the show's not over. Like
we have to throw the credits in there. We just know we have to put that in there for a quick second.
Here's the thing. I honestly believe, and I'm pulling this out of the air, but I honestly believe that is a tactic that they put in place because they know, because what happens when you're watching, anytime you're watching a show on a streaming service, what happens when the credits go up? It shrinks down the show and tries to show you something else to watch. And the people who should be getting credit for the hard work they did making the show, they don't get seen. Yeah. Their name doesn't pop up. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, right? And so I honestly feel like it's a tactic that they devised to try to make sure that the people who are working on it get credit. And like you don't miss it before it shrinks down and tries to go to the next episode or something like that. Like I just feel like that's one of the things that they did. Like we're just gonna make sure that people see it instead of like it gets to the show's over and it gets to the credits and you turn it off. You know what I mean? Like think about the sheer number of people who missed mid or end credit scenes during Falcon and Winter Soldier or WandaVision because once the credits start rolling, all right, cool, I'm done. I saw it and I bounce, right? And end credit, mid credit scenes are devised to do the same thing. They're technically there to try to get you to stay longer through the credits, because otherwise there's no reason for it to be there. That's not really an Easter egg that's there for our own benefit because we sit in the theater for longer, because it doesn't benefit the theater in any way, shape, or form for you to be in the theater longer. If anything, the theater wants you to get up and get out so they can clean the theater and move on to the next set of people. So,
Marvel destroyed ruined us with that one.
Yeah, that's a thing that's devised to keep people in the theater longer. So that
jokes. When I went to see Demon Slayer, you think I ain't sit there until the credits was over?
Sir, Marvel has taught me to not leave for anything.
I don't. I was sitting there watching Demon Slayer in the theater, like me and a bunch of people, like, we're not moving. Right. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
at this point now, hey, even if it's like a quick, subtle little thing, I don't leave for anything unless for some reason either I've seen it already and I know there's nothing there, and I've gone back for like a second viewing or something like that. I get up, even if it's a one-off type of movie, I still stay there because they may end up trying to drop something like, "Oh, this is coming next," or
I'll be real with you, Perp. I actually like the humor, bro. Yeah, I actually like the humor, man. I think the humor is good.
It doesn't feel forced. That's the biggest thing. Wherever it falls, the comedy has fallen in it. It's been in the right place at the right time. So if they continue and still make the show and make it darker, it's just put it in the right places. I'm cool with it.
Hey, listen. My favorite thing about this right now is that like, listen, I know this for 2 days, but I just want y'all to know I got it updated, though. Hey, dog. Hey, have you used it yet? Because that joint's smooth.
That joint's clean.
Yes, it is.
So I want to touch on this before we start talking about Star Wars. I'm sure that y'all know that there's this whole thing going on still with Epic and Apple, and that the process actually started this week. Tim Sweeney from Epic took the stand, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to talk about that now because that is actually for Thursday. Here's what I do want to talk about. J. Robert Deans, if you don't leave Robert Kirkman alone and watch Invincible.
I don't think this
you don't leave Robert Kirkman alone and watch Invincible.
I do not think this is going to go.
Just watch it. Like, here's the thing. Imagine you had no idea that Kirkman was involved in any way. And just watch it. You know what I mean?
Watch it, and if you don't like it, get out.
Listen, I know, listen. As much as I trust in Feige, they're still doing Fantastic Four. Even if that joint is good, I'm going to tell y'all right now, even if that joint is good, I'm going to come right into this show hating on it. Coming right in hating. And I'm going to be like, you know why? Because they still could have picked any other team and I'd have been happier. So, y'all could have made a good joint with any other team. Why did you do it with them? That's just where I am. So look, this is the thing that I kind of want to touch on. So there's a class action lawsuit against Apple. Specifically, let me put it this way. They've decided to go to trial. Apple tried to get it dismissed. But basically what happened is someone is suing them because when you purchase something from the Apple App Store, it says buy. And then when you look at the fine print, it says that they basically can take that right away from you. Right? That they can just restrict access to something that you paid for. And it doesn't say that it's a rental. Like they have stuff that you can rent. And it doesn't say whatever, but it says that you're buying it. So I just want to read a little bit about, for real, here's the most important thing. Apple claimed in them trying to get it dismissed and pushed out that no reasonable person actually expects for the content they buy to remain available to them in the App Store forever. That's what. That's as many conversations as we have had on this show about going digital and whether you own like physical content versus digital media and what have you. Mm-hmm. Literally, they said Apple contends that no reasonable consumer would believe that purchased content will remain on the iTunes platform indefinitely. That's what's in the order that they wrote to the California district judge. And it says, but in common usage, the term buy means to acquire possession over something, it seems plausible, at least at the motion to dismiss the motion to dismiss stage, that reasonable consumers would expect their access couldn't be revoked. And apparently, because they can have their access revoked, the judge was like, "Nah, Slim, we're gonna listen to this. We're gonna hear this out."
Yes.
And that's kind of nuts. Hey, listen, J. Robert Deans, listen. A hyper-violent Superman is exactly what we need. I implore you, go on YouTube and watch the full cinematics for Injustice, the video game. Just watch it. First one and then the second one. It's going to take you about 4 or 5 hours. A hyper-violent Superman is exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need. A version of Superman that doesn't hold back. But the other thing about it is, the hyper-violent Superman thing is a misconception. No, this isn't the trial for custody of Bill Gates. You're killing me, Slim. Yeah, if you think it is about a hyper-violent Superman, that is a misconception. You have dismissed it without actually checking into it. I am telling you, you need to watch this show. Period. That is not what this show is about. That's not even close to what this show is really about. You need to watch it. It does knock out about half the country, but it's not reasonable person. It's reasonable consumer. And well, as a person who deals with retail every day, most consumers ain't real reasonable.
That's true.
Hey, listen. You disagree that Invincible is not about a hyper-violent Superman? Because that's wrong. It's not about a hyper-violent Superman.
There's a hyper-violent Superman there. I mean, but he's there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I would call him hyper-violent. Like,
over the top Superman.
He does what he has to do for what he's trying to do. Like, other than that, he'll go save some people. Keep it regular. Stuff like that. But then when
snap,
when he's on other time mode, he does what he got to do.
Yeah, you need to watch this show. You need to watch this show. You just do. You need to watch the show. There are points that you're missing that are being made in this show. And listen, I'm sure we'll do a spoiler, boys. We'll really talk about it, but it's not. You shouldn't watch Spoiler Boys because you won't have watched it at that point. I'm telling you, you are missing the point of what this show is about. It is not what you think it is. If that's what you think it is, that's not what it's about. I'm not saying there's not hyper-violence. I'm not saying there aren't superheroes. Did you watch The Boys? Because The Boys is about a hyper-violent Superman. That's what that is about. Invincible is not that, though there are comparisons you could very easily draw just based on the fact that there are superheroes or superpowered individuals and there is actual violence. Like,
hey, dog, when that babble, them dudes that was coming, them aliens that was coming from that other dimension, Omni-Man said, I got this.
I
stood no chance.
Ace in the hole, bro. Dog. Just went and wrapped it up.
Went over there, took care of business.
Wiped out a whole civilization.
Listen, we talking Superman on the beach against all the doomsdays.
And did what he's supposed to do.
Didn't wait. It's no, we taking care of this now.
Hey, listen, J. Robert Deans, that is okay with me. I'm not telling you to go watch The Boys. I'm just telling you that The Boys is more about a hyper-violent Superman than Invincible is. There is hyper-violence, so if you don't have the stomach for that, then that's cool. That's a different thing. If you hate Robert Kirkman, then you could just say, I hate Robert Kirkman. I don't care what he does. I'm not watching anything he does. You could just say that.
I understand.
But if you are knocking Invincible because you believe that it is about a hyper-violent Superman, You are mistaken, and you should watch the show.
Don't we know that Robert just doesn't like anything that
man,
we
look,
like?
I will give you the Apocalypse War whole bit if you go watch this. Like at this point, you have to watch this.
I mean, listen.
Hey, Jokes, you still have not seen the last episode.
Hey, but I'm in. Yeah. But I'm in, though.
I know you're in, but
don't worry. That'll be finished tonight.
You still got the finale to go through.
Yeah, dog, you got work to do.
Oh,
bro.
You'll know. There'll be a post about it after that last episode.
Oh, I know. You gonna spoiler boy it.
No, I am not gonna spoil
the original.
Boy, so stop it.
Spoiler boy.
Hey, listen.
Hey, but we made a whole show out of it, so stop it. Move on.
No doubt. Here's where I'm at. Back to Apple. If this lawsuit goes through and it is in some way, shape, or form ruled that because Apple is using the word buy when you purchase something, it could change digital rights management for everything else. Everybody else is going to have to make adjustments, period. Period. That's what it is. Purchase, buy. They're going to have to come up with some different term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're going to have to come up with a different term. Something that means that you don't have access to it for the rest of your days. You know what I mean? Which is, I guess, different in video games than it is in movies. I mean, like, having to keep servers on so you can actually play with each other is different from, when you have a game that's like all online versus just getting digital content, right? And what happens with that content, where it goes when if you've purchased it, and whether or not you have the right to access it again. We will explore this a little bit more when we do cutscenes. Because again, we've seen just recently, like in the last couple of weeks, people talking about the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3 having issues with their battery. We're like, even if you have the disc, you put the disc in, it can't check the internet to see if you're supposed to have it, and it just won't let you play it.
That's garbage.
Yeah. That's crazy. So even if you make a physical purchase, you don't necessarily.
And it's so stupid. Like, you should know, like, it's a battery. Inevitably, at some point, it's going to die. There should be a way around there. But
the thing about something like that is that it means that when you make that purchase, you have purchased the disc, but not necessarily the right to always have access to the content on that disc. And it's going to have to be like, that's going to have to come to a head at some point, because with everything going digital the way it is, it's a totally different thing. You know what I mean? It's possession is 9/10 of the law. Repossession is the other one. But repossession is when you haven't finished paying for it. Like, you don't own it. It's not yours.
Right.
It's a different thing. Movies Anywhere is absolutely going to play into that lawsuit. I think, Robert Deans. I think that any entity that is allowing you to quote unquote purchase content digitally is going to have to seriously look at how they do that and what the rights are that people have. I mean, if you look at just what Microsoft is doing in terms of Xbox and trying to allow you to have access to digital content that comes from as far back as the original Xbox, and that continuing to come with you, the idea that Apple, as you eventually, Apple does an update that makes your old stuff just not work anyway. Right? I mean, but that's not just Apple. I mean, that's just pretty common. But the control that they have over a situation like that is something as collectors and people who do love physical stuff but are moving into this digital realm or have already moved into the digital realm. This is the kind of thing we have to keep our eye on. Absolutely have to keep our eye on. So it's time. It's May 4th. Star Wars. We need to have some conversations. Here's what I want to do. Jokes.
Yes, sir.
What is your earliest Star Wars memory? Go.
Definitely got to say, with moms actually watching the original trilogy on VHS. So obviously, for me, I wasn't old enough. I wasn't born enough to have been gone.
I wasn't born enough.
I wasn't born enough.
That's what he said.
Okay. I wasn't born enough. So definitely, that was one of those
I just
times. My
want you to
mom,
understand that you're
Hey.
saying that your earliest Star Wars memory is from the womb because you were not born
And
enough.
look, we need to get a show with little jokes. I wasn't born enough.
Yeah.
no, keep coming. Hey, we keep coming with that product. I'm cool with it, and people gonna want it too. So hey, I'm cool with that. But yeah, but definitely,
we gotta get that joint made into a Funko Pop, dog. I gotta get that joint done. You know what? I'm about to holler at my man Playful Gorilla.
There you go. Oh, he'd do it in a heartbeat. But definitely sitting and watching the original trilogy with my mom. That was just one of those things to go through. And I mean, the original VHS. So this is before they did any of the edits and added in like the digital stuff. Like these were the original VHS copies that originally came out that we watched it. Just like I say, OG Crawl. Yep. And that was probably I think that was probably one of my first introductions into more of that sci-fi realm with anything. Definitely Moms was who got me into enjoying these type of things. And just sitting there and enjoying it.
One. G said he'll buy one.
Cool. Hey, see, I'm cool with that. No issues there.
We gotta talk to J. Robert Deans, man. He's a creator. We gotta figure this out. We gotta get that merch out. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a #1 seller. Sin?
Earliest memory, it's me, my mother, and my aunts and uncles. Like they were big Star Wars family. Like going to the movies, it was probably like Empire Strikes Back or even Return of the Jedi. And I remember just being like in the basement with them, and they had like the Millennium, whatever Star Wars toys was. I don't care how big the ships were, how small they were. They had all of them, and we would sit in the basement all day and just play with them with Boba Fett and Darth Vader and all of them. Just be amped and go by.
My man did say Boba Fett. Feel free to get my man.
I was like, hold up, Boba Fett.
Look, when I was little, I called him that for the longest time because I didn't know no better. So it was kind of like just stuck with me over the years. So
like by accident or just like that was just by choice? Like you just decided that's what you was gonna call him.
This is Boba Fett.
Hashtag Boba Fett. Oh my god.
All right.
But yeah, like going to Toys R Us and KB and getting all the new toys and everything. Like it was great. Like it has been a part of my life ever since I was little, and it will always be a part of my life.
You know what I remember is having the Kenner toys and how the Jedis had the slit in their arm.
Oh,
so you could slide the joint up so it would actually look like the lightsaber was turning on.
Mm-hmm.
That joint, those were, it's simple, right? But it was ingenious at the time, right? Because you could actually, it made you feel like you were actually activating a lightsaber. Here's a question I have for you all. Why is Star Wars such a big deal? Like, why does it matter? Like we in the world we exist in, right? Like we know what it means for people to latch on to something from a pop culture standpoint, a product and whatever. But like Star Wars is a different kind of beast. It just is, bruh. Like
I think it has to do with when it came out. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before, and it was like extremely groundbreaking. So it kind of blew everybody's minds away. And just like how it does with us nowadays, when we get something new, we stick with it throughout the years and we pass it down to our children and so forth. I think that's what happened with Star Wars. Like it was so big and affected so many people. It just then they came out with another one. Then they came out with another one. It just keeps going. It keeps building the fandom. It just passed on through generations to generations. And, we all love it, too, because where we got it from. We got it from our parents. They put us on to it.
I'll definitely agree with that. And just like at the time, I know when they came out, like I've seen like the original trailers, like when they put them out for these movies to come out. And it was like it was an experience the way that they did them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was totally different from like your typical drama movies and all that, even though, you were telling this story. But granted, they had other type of, I guess you could say, sci-fi movies. But this was that one that was like, we're going into space. We're talking other planets. We're talking all this different creatures, different races, like all that type of stuff was in this one container of a movie. And And I think just like Sin said, you know, people saw that and it was like word of mouth. Yo, you gotta go see this.
I ain't never seen nothing like this before.
I ain't never seen something like this. You gotta go see this.
I think you're right. Like, I mean, I don't think you're right. You're right. I think you're both right. As a matter of fact, I think everybody's right. I think it's a combination of all of those things, right? That it was like, you know, J. Robert Jenkins is saying like they took advantage, like full marketing advantage, and like that hadn't been done in a very long time, right? And you know, you guys saying that like people just hadn't seen anything like this before. It wasn't like the other, you know, other films, other movies.
Hey, look, just glancing. I thought she said something else. I just finished bad bitch. I was like,
what's wrong with you? Why you keep doing that?
I can't help it when I see it at a glance. That's the first thing that pops in my mind.
Here's what I feel. Here's what I think. I think that a lot of it is that Star Wars, for as outlandish, I shouldn't say outlandish, as far-reaching as the ideas and concepts are, right? Lightsabers and Jedi's, magical powers, but it's not magic, but it is magic, but it's
right.
I really feel like so much of it is the fact that it's based all on things that feel like they're real things that we already know, right? That they're all things that like being knights, like you know what a knight is, you know what I mean? Like knight in shining armor kind of thing, or in the lore of like samurai, religion, like all of those things that are things that I think people just innately have a connection to, but then taking that and making it something that you could see those things, but you didn't necessarily think about those things immediately when you watched it, right? Because it's space. And the fact that it's a combination of old, like everything is dirty and broken and old and used, you know what I'm saying? Like it feels lived in and what have you, and it's not here. But also things fly and float and they you know what I'm saying, hyperspace jumps and lightsabers and right. So like it literally starts with a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? In a galaxy far, far away. What do you mean a long time ago? Clearly they're more advanced than us.
Right.
Clearly they're more advanced, but they're not. Like they have lasers, but they can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have no internet. You know
that side of the universe, like this whole other side of the universe, that is completely different from this side over here and what we got.
Yeah, like there's something about Star Wars feeling lived in, feeling like people have been there for generations, for decades. And I think it just allows people to identify, right? To align themselves with the characters that you don't typically see in other stories. You're absolutely right, Heather. It is high fantasy in an epic space trilogy. Nothing like people had ever seen before. Like if you understood or read, if you knew Lord of the Rings, sure, mystic abilities and what have you,
right?
But not with lasers,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Cuddy says so. There was Star Trek, but the visual effects for the original TV show were garbage. Not for the time, they weren't garbage. Star Wars like the MCU, the DC versus Star Trek now plus futuristic Western. I mean, yes, some of the Western stuff I think also again grounded. You're in the desert. You know what I mean? It's dusty and lived in, and people keep guns on holsters.
You got to outlaw.
You handle stuff in the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, you know what I mean? It is that there's still a lot of wild west of just going and figuring it out and doing it the way you want to do it. You know what I mean? Or whatever, which I think definitely lends credence to it feeling more tactile, right? So for something that is so far-fetched, it feels so tactile. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like you couldn't be there, like you couldn't go there, like it couldn't exist if you know what I mean, if you wanted to see it. It's not one of those things where I think a lot of times they are trying to show you things that are unbelievable, in movies, and in this case, they're not necessarily doing that. I think there's a lot of what's actually worked with the MCU is that, yes, we have these superpowered individuals, but it feels grounded, which I also think helps with what Marvel does versus what DC does, because the places they live are real places. So it just feels more grounded. Correct. Nothing in Star Wars is original. You're absolutely right.
We've had that conversation.
Kurosawa, serials, comics, everything. You're right. It's just synthesized so well. It's all brought together so well that even though I actually think it's the fact that it doesn't feel new. Like, you think it's new. You think it feels new. But it actually doesn't feel new. It feels familiar. You know what I mean? Feels like a Western. Feels, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that's what it is. When you compare it to something like Star Trek is trying to show you a future. You know what I mean? It's trying to show you there's a difference in what you automatically have to do with your own suspension of disbelief when somebody tells you this takes place in the time such and such age. It's like the Jetsons, right? Taking place in like 1995. Y'all were so wrong, right?
Facts.
But when you have things that seem so technologically advanced mixed with things that don't necessarily feel so advanced, and at the same time it takes place a long time ago, for some reason, I think it just allows you to feel embedded in it. It feels more realistic. Futuristic Western. I agree 100%. Yeah, real talk. Super important that there are people out there that are keeping the history and the original history of what it was alive. You know, leave it to Disney, who's made a decision to go back and be like, none of that canon is canon, which probably was the smartest thing they could have done, as many people hated it. The rest of there to try to make it too clean always needs to have a grittiness to it. You know what? I think that there's something to that. I think there's something to, again, it feeling old. You know what I mean? That there's a history there. When you watch A New Hope, the Jedi are old, bro. It's an old thing that been happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a new beginning thing, and it's like, wait, man, I'm coming in what happened?
They gone. We'll tell you that story later.
Right? Like, Obi-Wan is a legend.
Yeah.
When you start, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a legend when it starts. I think it's where they put you. I think it just makes a different. No. I got that. I'm with you 100%, J. Robert Deans. I know it wasn't Disney that did that. What I meant was Disney made a smart decision by deciding to make all the things that we loved as things that we felt were canon, those outside stories, making them not canon was the smartest thing they could have done from a business perspective, because it literally allows them to write the stories now that they want to write and have control over it without having to go back and having people be able to say, that's not how it happened. That's wrong, right? They didn't have to do that with Marvel because Marvel rewrites itself consistently. Comic books always have things like other universes and things like that going on. So you can let's just go. But with something like Star Wars that's as tried and true and people as picky as they are, again, Star Wars is not like anything else. There's Star Trek and people are super duper into it. But it's so different from what Star Wars is. Star Wars had such a long hiatus of being away. And still never in some way not being a thing. Somehow it feels like even though there was such a large gap in time between, look at the gap in time between Return of the Jedi and technically episode 1, right? The prequel trilogy. There's such a huge gap. And then again, you look at the gap between when that trilogy ended and when this recent one started. But even though you have those gaps and it never really goes away.
No, the fandom never dies down, not even a little bit.
It's just there's a lot of things in fandoms that have their own day. There's a lot of them. They're not like today.
Nah.
they're not like today.
Like on May the 4th, you get announcements and all sorts of stuff.
But I mean, it's even beyond that. I'm just talking about like people who don't really care are saying like May the 4th be with you.
Oh,
like,
that's been the whole timeline today. Just
Facebook
May the 4th.
Post.
May
That's
the
what
4th.
I'm saying. Like,
yeah, all day.
I've never seen you post about
Star Wars.
Right. But now my whole timeline is May the 4th.
Own a single piece, but it's there. Like, that's how big it, and it's almost one of those things where it's not a joke, right? May the 4th. This is not to be, because we're here in the United States, because we're here in America. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If people didn't get drunk on Cinco de Mayo, people wouldn't be thinking about that. They'd just be thinking about May the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many more people ask me last week about what was going on Star Wars Day than ask me what's popping for Cinco de Mayo, which maybe is because there ain't nobody going nowhere or something. Like, I don't know.
True.
That could have something to do with it. Somebody
did ask me, like, what's up? I don't know. Not going out with y'all. I'm not going nowhere with y'all.
I ain't going out with y'all.
That's it. So here's what I want to do, because Disney went hard today. I'm gonna start. Did either one of y'all watch the Simpsons short, the 3-minute short?
No.
Force Awakens from his nap. It's cute, but that's about it. What you got, Frosty? Also, everyone who knows him should message Rob Can saying May the 4th. Everybody just do it.
Okay.
All right. Done deal. Everybody hit Rob up. Comic Logic. May the 4th be with you. Make it a thing. All right, so y'all didn't watch it. It was cute. It's 3 minutes. It's not that long. You can watch it. I'm over it. They didn't really need to do it. However, The Bad Batch. Now, I know you didn't finish it, Jokes, did you?
Didn't finish it.
You got a terrible history today. You not finishing things, bro. Got terrible history today. You finished Outrider story yet?
Oh, that's done.
Nah,
that's done. That's done.
Oh, that's done.
That's done.
Like it happened a long time ago.
Right.
Oh man. I guess we were set up. Too late. The Bad Batch, yo. We can't spoil it. I suggest you watch it though.
Okay.
I highly suggest you watch it. You ain't watch it, Sin?
Nah, I didn't watch it yet.
Even bigger party foul.
Yeah. You watch it.
Let me tell you something.
How long was the first episode?
An hour and 14 minutes. It's an hour 14 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I started watching it late, thinking I'm gonna be able to burn through this. Okay. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to burn through this.
I think man, I think they on to something. Again, I really think they should be focusing on trying to make Jedi's cool, but
nope.
Let me tell you something about that Bad Batch, boy. Say about them 99s, y'all.
That ain't a coincidence.
That joint has, it doesn't quite have Grogu potential.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there. They did a thing. I'm happy with it.
Okay.
I'm happy with it. And
that joint was right from a jump from Clone Wars. Like,
straight up.
Dog, straight up from Clone Wars.
Next season of Clone Wars is Bad Batch. Straight up. Straight up. Like, they jump into the episode like
the same way.
Last time.
Yeah, exactly the same way.
General Kenobi is fighting General Grievous. Like, it's real out there.
It's the same dude, same voice. It's the same.
Okay.
Yes. Let me see. What you say?
Transitions like the Avatar
just for today was no. Oh yeah. Nah, well, it's a show. But yes, they did it today because it's Star Wars Day.
Star Wars.
So no, they didn't wait till Friday. But y'all definitely need to watch that joint. But I'm gonna tell you what. If you haven't watched Invincible, watch that first.
Watch that first.
Facts.
That one is much more important than this. Let me tell you something. Woo! Invincible is everything Mortal Kombat should have been, bro.
And then some, dog.
Oh,
and then
oh,
some.
it's so good. I'm gonna show y'all something. Y'all want to see something? Check this out.
Let's see some.
So I have these. It's gonna be hard to see because my computer's.
Oh,
right?
is that like original actual like film?
Yeah, I got these original cells. From episode 5, from The Empire Strikes Back.
That's clean.
You can't see. Well, I mean, you can see. I mean, they're straight up see-through. They're straight cells. This joint is dope. This was a really, really dope gift I got for Christmas like 2 years ago.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, all the 3 main posters for it, signed on the back, numbered, and all that jazz. Limited edition, 854 out of 1,000. It's pretty solid. I enjoy those kinds of things. That's the thing you can't do digital, y'all.
Mm-mm.
You got to make like jokes and pay for that. Get that physical. Woo! J. Robert Deans. Hold on now.
Wow.
Yoda puppet from 1980. Hey, little jokes.
Wasn't even
You
thought
was
about.
barely born.
I was barely born. Barely born.
Oh man. There it is.
It's fine. You keep doing that, but don't be upset when that does become a Funko Pop.
Oh nah, I ain't listen. He can't be mad. That joint is definitely finna get down. Yes, because you, Frosty, be threatening to take my things.
Just yank the whole basement. I just like literally just yank that and just take the whole thing.
Oh,
that's
man.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What's that over there? Oh yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that too. I like that too. I'm just gonna take all this. I'm just gonna grab all this.
She fills her bag
And
up.
the thing about it is, right? Like it's not that you wouldn't notice it. It's just that there's so much Spider-Man stuff.
It can
get lost in the mix.
Overwhelm everything else.
Yeah, it can get lost in the mix.
Oh, it gets lost in the mix. It's everywhere. I mean, the Spider-Man paraphernalia is actually out of control. Like I can admit that. Like it's out of control. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. I don't even, and it's not all my fault. Most of it I don't think I buy. Hey, people just give it to me. It just happens that way.
Oh wow, we
got
in
the
here.
script books from the Empire.
Oh, that's clean.
Yeah, that's solid. I don't have. I mean, I do have stuff from the 80s. I mean, I still have like my original. Like I have my Castle Grayskull and my Snake Mountain. Now that they re-releasing He-Man toys back, like they knew, but they're not. Hey, listen, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for you to send me an image so I can just throw it up on screen. All right, listen, we need to wrap things up. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see it, but listen, it's almost like COVID might be coming to an end and we finna get real busy again. So we have a very full slate. I did put out a calendar on Patreon as well as on Facebook of most of what's happening this month. So you guys can feel free to just go there and check that out. We are having some really cool guests come on for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month to spend some time with us next week and the week after. We have a couple people lined up. We will probably have some more people lined up as well. That kind of stuff is ever changing. Snack Bites recap. I'm glad you like that.
There were some bad memories in there, but
it was. But some good ones. Good ones.
We've eaten some terrible things, y'all.
We have.
My man Cuddy, fully vaccinated. Let's go. My guy. I feel you, bro.
Vaxie boys.
I feel you. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Lots of cons. We got virtual Comic-Con coming up next month, so we're in the process of setting up interviews with people and stuff for that. A couple of panels. We got some people that are already gonna join us for our Being Comfortable Being a Geek panel for that.
Because we did, Robert.
the proprietor of Virtual Comic-Con will be on with us in a couple weeks. Shady Hayes will be on with us. So can't wait to talk with her about that. So we're lining some things up. Obviously, BlurCon's coming and AwesomeCon's coming, and there's just lots of things brewing. And we are working on some additional content behind the scenes, trying to make some other things happen. Putting some new plans together for beats and beat downs. There's a lot happening. We're staying busy. So on that note, Jokes, you have a job to do.
Cool.
Also, if anybody out there wants to, we did a Spoiler Boys, me and Jokes, for the Demon Slayer movie, which is up in our anime chat. So it's sitting there posted right at the top for anybody who wants to go see us discuss the number one animated film of all time.
I'd be happy with that. That's not true, though.
That's
definitely not true.
Are you talking about like money wise? Because I'm about to throw a big wrench in that one. Of which one's still?
Demon Slayer?
Definitely not
I'll tell you which one is number one.
What is?
Come on, you should know. If I'm saying it, you should know what it is.
What, Spirited Away?
No.
Nah, actually, the number one animated film of all time from a money standpoint is unfortunately the remake of The Lion King, 2019, followed by Frozen and then Frozen 2. Now that joint is in Japan.
Yeah,
it's the biggest release of all time, and that joint definitely did overtake Spirited Away.
No, J. Robert, it is not Apocalypse War. But no, anime wise in the US, then the number one grossing one is Pokemon the first movie. And then the second one is Pokemon the movie 2000, and then it's Demon Slayer.
Right there, J. Robert Dean's right there.
And Pokemon.
It's still a hefty deal. Now don't get me wrong, if everything would have been normal nowadays and we would have been able to go Demon Slayer probably would be damn near close to topping one of the two of those.
Yeah, it might be up there, and it certainly could do some damage on the anime level, but that joint I don't think that joint would even come close to touching. I think that listen, I like Jon Favreau. I think that Lion King joint is atrocious, dog. I hate that joint. But that's it. That's the number one joint, dog. Like in the billions, bro. Like that joint is the number one joint, and I'm not happy about it. But then it's Frozen 2 and then Frozen 1, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that joint's not close. However, that joint definitely making its mark, definitely stamping its place in the anime community for sure. So definitely an important thing and an important piece. So again,
and Sin,
check that out.
I actually found a theater that's still doing IMAX for it as well too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? Favreau's Lion King is like 98. Yeah, just hey, listen, it's not. I actually have.
Here come Ty.
Here we go, dog.
Here come Ty. Here come Ty with that.
I thought we had it, bro. I thought we was gonna get through the show, bro.
Nope. See,
I thought we was gonna get through the show, man. There's no way, Ty. That joint was garbage fire. It was a garbage truck fire. You probably really love Beyonce singing, and so that's probably what did that for you.
That's
probably.
Oh, J. Robert, you awesome. Oh, you awesome.
Listen, Timon and Pumbaa casting was on point the first time they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, they probably could have just re-released the original joint. Again, I have a high appreciation for what Jon Favreau was trying to do because I love nature documentaries. I really do, bro. But when you take a movie like The Lion King and you try to make it look like a nature documentary, the thing it's missing is David Attenborough doing the narration. Without that, it falls flat because it's just like these boring shots of just a lion playing. Like it's not. It just doesn't hold the same thing. I feel like people would be hard pressed to watch that one versus the original animated one and not have a better time watching the original. That's where I'm at. Thank you, Jokes, for putting the link in. Y'all jump on that link tree. Again, Patreon is growing. Greatly appreciate all y'all who've been jumping in and hanging out with us there. We are crafting some newer content for y'all there as well. Sin, you have a job to do.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Facts. Anybody know what happened to Marcus today?
Don't know. That kind of worries me a little bit.
He's not in the comments.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Not in the comments.
Hope everything's okay.
He probably only got like one more week before he can talk trash about one thing. He's saving up, dog. He probably coming in this joint next week. Woo!
We said 3 months. So he got a way to go. He got a ways to go.
Yeah, he got some. I
don't think I'll hear from him until at least after my birthday. I think I can at least get past that to be good.
Here's where I'm at. I feel like you should challenge him again between now and then, just to push it further out.
Extend that, John. Find something you can put it on. And
Dr. Who, what's up? You're a little late to the party too, unless you've been in there just kind of, you've been creeping. You might, you just been lurking, which is fair. Yeah, so again, there's a lot going on. We'll be back on Thursday with cutscenes, talk video games, and hang out and chat and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on there. Friday night, we'll be streaming Second Extinction.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all want to see us get wrecked trying to fight
alien
dinosaurs, y'all just come right on.
Yeah, that's gonna be a time.
Get kicked out. It's highly possible. This is a game. Yeah. You might get kicked out. And the next week we'll be back on Tuesday. Tuesday's guest for Loaded Snacks Weekly is none other than the awesome Penelope Gaylord at Peng Peng Art. So y'all make sure y'all check her out. Get ready for that. It's gonna be a really good time to have her on. So with that, we're gonna wrap this up. We are out. May the 4th be with you. Toodles and loos.